Three. Hi, and welcome to AI Onion Reviews, where each Sunday we bring you a review of a new job search tool that we hope will make your job search a lot easier and stress-free. Look, we all know that finding a job can be really difficult. Some would even say that finding a job is almost like a job in of itself. This can only be made harder if you're using the wrong tools. For those of you that don't know me, I've been a recruitment agency owner, director, and head of talent acquisition for some of the world's largest organizations over the last 30 years. And in that time, I've used basically most of the products that are out there in the market today. But more importantly, I've not only used the products, but I've used them as an agency owner, an employer, and also a candidate. So hopefully I can bring you a unique perspective as to kind of what the right tools are. Main topics. 1, the features. 2, who should be using this. And 3, how it should be used. Without further ado, let's dive straight in to monster.com. And as you will see from here, they're celebrating 30 years. And I actually remember going back some 30 odd years ago when I used to have my own agency. Actually, Monster launched it into the UK. So it's been with me most, if not all, of my career. Okay, like a great deal of these sites, the kind of older sites, I would say, almost the granddaddy of the sites, it's fairly clear. What they tend to do is put everything on the front page and build it around a dashboard. And I think this dashboard is actually quite nice, quite clean, and quite modern in the way it actually approaches the problem here. So following on the left-hand side, I've already loaded my CV on here. So you'll see some information on here that you may not see yourself when you go into the site for the first time. But I've just put a general JD on there, recruitment manager. I thought that'd be the easiest one to load. They do have a badge system. Again, this is to incentivize you to load up your details. One of the things I like here, they actually track how much information and what you actually put into your JD. Now, here they've got the experience. Now, obviously, they've gone through a ticking process to say, I've uploaded my CV, I've added content, etc., etc. One of the things I actually wasn't particularly happy about, and I'm going to go into it now, they're asking me to add my experience. Now, modern day parsing engines, and that's a piece of software that basically extracts your CV details and puts them into their database, should be doing that automatically. I think they should probably be getting more information from LinkedIn, who knows, but the fact is that Monster are actually owned by one of Europe's largest recruitment agencies called Randstad. Probably means that there might be some conflict of interest there. So just a word to the wise there. Okay, so it's asking me to add my experience. Something I'm not too happy about here is that they're asking me to do this manually. In today's marketplace, should that be a feature that should be done automatically, or at least they've made an intelligent guess and you should be able to select that or not. So I'll show you what I actually mean by that. So they're asking me to actually change some of the data in here. Job type. You know, really, I've been there for a certain period of time now. Could it be assumed that it's maybe permanent, or maybe do an assumptive, is this permanent? Done. And I don't have to then go down and list. So being more assumptive, that might be useful. I don't know. Guys, if you're listening, might be an idea. But if you haven't got all of these done at any particular time, then you can just toggle through as per here. Okay, nice and simple. All right. So if you've loaded your CV and you haven't had the opportunity to go through it all, I'd recommend doing as much as you can, because that means that the machine learning algorithm can start matching your CV. All right, moving on. Continue on the left-hand side. Once you've loaded all your skills and details, then you can go on to this area here, which again is their recommendation engine matching you against particular roles. Nice, simple, and clean. All right, does what it says on the tin. Actively hiring. If you like the sound of that job, you just dive straight in and apply. Really simple. Couldn't be easier. Okay. Going down, fairly straightforward footer. There's no additional information here that you don't get up top. Good. Going back up to the top, one of the things I do like about here, they've kind of got an accountability coach. One of the things about applying for a job is that sometimes you're on your own, and it can be really difficult that someone's not giving you a nudge. So what they've set up here is a goal, goal setter, if you like. Now, of course, the nice thing is that it kind of, for them, it makes sure that you're coming back to the site. And I should imagine there's actually a prompt in here as well. This is quite nice. It's just a little, an aid memoir, if you like. but you can apply these goals, turn them on, turn them off. Really, it's very, very simple. I think that's quite nice, actually. It does allow you to stay fresh of mind, front of mind, keep this kind of in your mind. Oh God, I need to do that. Apply for another job. Again, what I like about this site, or certainly this dashboard area here, is the job tracker. Again, the job tracker, as the name suggests, you've applied for a job. It actually shows you what jobs you've applied for. However, if you've started applying for a job and you've gone off somewhere else, gone to make tea, gone to take a call, an interview, or whatever, and you haven't finished, it will obviously remind you here. So you've gone through some of the stages, finish applying. Obviously, what happens here a lot, people probably get a little bit tired doing it, applying for jobs, and they bug out, they bounce. So this is an aide-memoire to say, hey, you haven't finished, and then that's applied for a job. It obviously lists all of the jobs that you've applied for, so you can keep track on that, and that comes down here. My thoughts on this, though, is that I prefer to have my own separate tracker. Now, I've actually built a tracker that I'll actually put in the description below for you to use at your leisure. The reason why I've done that, because if you're using more than one job site, let's say you're using 3 or 4 job sites, you don't want to have to keep bouncing between all of the different jobs to see exactly where you're at any one point. So I tend to kind of take the information that I've applied through and put it into my own job tracker. Purely up to you. You know, you might find it easier to go between all of the different sites, just have all of the different tabs open as I've got up there, whatever suits you. Okay, moving down, recent searches, as the name suggests, recent searches. So what have you been looking for? What did I search last week? It's difficult to remember sometimes because you're doing so much. So again, a nice thing to actually kind of use as an aide-memoire. Now, the career advice area, very full. Nothing to complain about too much here. But again, I would have liked to see some videos here, maybe some artificial intelligence, maybe to help you with your CV writing, or maybe your cover letters, maybe some videos showing an interview, the good, the bad, the indifferent, that type of stuff. There are some interesting bits here. Can you find it elsewhere? Yes, you can. But it is exhaustive. So, if you do want to, kind of do that, investigate this kind of stuff here, then it makes absolute sense. There's some good bits here. None of it I can argue with. Also, down at the bottom, if I remember correctly, there's a salary calculator. Okay. Now, these are always really useful. I quite like salary calculators. Because if you're going for a new job, or importantly, you're going for a promotion, having a salary calculator allows you to kind of gauge where you are in the market and potentially negotiate a little bit stronger. So if you go into the salary calculator here, and as I mentioned earlier on, this company is owned by Randstad. The salary checker will take you. Pardon the pause. Salary checker will take you into the Randstad area here. Again, if you check the salary, they will ask you for your information because they're effectively separate organizations. They'll ask you for your email again. It's up to you whether or not you want to be on someone else's database. But for me, it's a small price to pay potentially for getting good insights into yourself and your worth. All right. Again, a lot of times people don't really understand their worth. One of the things about Monster, it's a generalist website. What does that mean? It's not specific. It's not IT. It's not human resources. It's not engineering. It is generalist. And sometimes it's difficult to find exactly what types of jobs they have. Now Monster takes lots of different roles from lots of different organizations. But to kind of get a sense of the things that they might do and or cover, have a look at this. This will kind of give you a sense. It's not exhaustive, but it will kind of give you a sense. And if you feel that you fit into this area, then I would use Monster. Again, fairly broad in its appeal, but it doesn't cover everything. So again, if you're not on here, I'd have to question whether or not this is the right thing for you. Okay, so let's go back to Monster itself. Okay, and go back to the dashboard. Okay, so we've talked about the job tracker. We've talked about my goals, job alerts. Now, job alerts are always really useful. As you can see here, mine are active, but I can turn them off at any particular time. Nice and easy. I can go into them and I can change them. What I suggest with things like job alerts, and you can add more job alerts, really, really easy, okay? Make it active or not. One of the things I tend to suggest with job alerts is, by all means, set them up, but make them really specific, all right? If you're using 3, 4, 5, 6 sites even, and you've got tons of job alerts coming in, it's easy to become overwhelmed. So be very specific. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a second. But you can kind of pause them, set them for, when they come in, etc., on a daily basis, every other day, once a week, whatever. So that's actually really quite useful. My profile, I'm going through this quite quickly. Again, setting up your details here, really easy, really simple. View your skills base. Ta-da, nice and simple. Make sure it's highlighted. I don't have Java or Kotlin or UX UI from my CV. These are just jobs I've actually advertised in the past and the type of skills I've hired for. So you've got to go through this to make sure that the skills are actually relevant to you and what you've actually been doing. Still asking for information to be added here. Again, a little bit weakness on here in the kind of the parsing engine, but that's just a niggle that I have with it. Once you're all the way down, then it says generate CV, work focused CV or education CV. Look, for the sake of it, why not? I would get the CV kind of generated and see what it comes up with. I tend not to rely on the types of CVs that a job board would generate for me. There are other specific sites that cater specifically for CV generation. I'll have those in the description as well. I'll actually do another video on those in the future. But again, if you're not sure about how your CV should be developed, a great place to start if you've never done one before or you haven't done one for some time. So a good place to start. Okay. All right. So recommended jobs. Again, as we said, if we looked on, we go back to the dashboard, the left-hand side of the dashboard has got the recommended jobs. This is kind of the fuller area. Lots of stuff happening. So again, fulsome information can be a bit time consuming. I think some of the tech is a little bit outdated. That's just me. I'm not a techie, so why would I know? But there's some good stuff here. So now that we've covered the features, we're going to cover, who should use this. Okay. Given it's a generalist site, and as I said before, it is generalist. It doesn't cover everything, and hence it doesn't specialize in any one area. If you've got a niche or specialist skill, is this the best site for you? Probably not. If your skill set sat in the area that I showed you earlier on from the Randstad site, absolutely. If you're a sophisticated user of job sites, again, possibly not, but I think this would be ideal for graduates, intermediate, and maybe some senior manager jobs. It really depends. A lot of the jobs that come on here are advertised by agencies, some end user clients, of course, but that could be a client of Randstad's. So I'm not always quite sure about the relationship between the monster website, Randstad, and the company themselves. That for me sometimes used to make me feel a little bit uneasy. Certainly if I was an agent putting jobs on here, that I always feel comfortable putting jobs on here when I know that actually the parent company was Randstad. And I know there's probably a Chinese wall between the two, and they would state that, and I'm sure there is one. But as an agent, I felt uncomfortable. So would I personally have put my jobs here? I didn't, no. So how to get the best out of this job site? So if you're going to use it, I suggest there are a couple of ways that you can use it. I've just made a list of a few. So I would definitely load the CV. You can load 3 different titles. So I would load those, my main CV, and then the 3 different titles around that. If I'm setting job alerts, I would make them very specific. Again, what you don't want to be is inundated with jobs, right? It's just crazy, and there's just more coming all the time, all right? That can lead to overwhelm, and you can get a little bit blind. So if I found a job that I really liked, again, tight criteria, both location, salary, and title, really, really tight, I'd probably make it, to start with, every day, set the alert to every day, see how that works, see how you feel about that, see if that's manageable for you. If not, set it to every other day, right? And then you can probably intersperse that with other sites that you're using as well. If I found a job that I liked, Sky being a good example of that, I wouldn't, as a candidate, and this is no, I'm not denigrating Monster at all, I wouldn't actually apply via this website or via any real job board website. I'd go straight to the Sky website, but I'd also, as a sophisticated searcher and recruiter and a candidate, I'd go straight to the Sky website and try and figure out via LinkedIn who the senior procurement manager is or the director of procurement, and basically reach out to them and start trying to build a relationship with them. Here, if I apply on here, I'm probably one of 300 or 400 people. And it's unlikely that those 300 or 400 people would even be bothered to try and find out who that person is. So I try and get a jump on my competition. It's now been identified that there's a job there. Hey, I like it. I want to go for it. I can apply via here. Look, they might turn around and say, no, only apply via our website. But what you want to do, you want to get your name front and center when it comes to them going through CVs. Again, I'd make sure that my CV was really accurate to this. And there are lots of websites that can actually help you do that, tailor your CV to the JD. And that's something that I will be talking about in another video. Anyway, that's it for now. I hope you've enjoyed the review today of monster.com. I do this every Sunday. I do it basically to help you find that job, find that job stress-free. One of the reasons why I do it is because I've seen so many great candidates make poor applications by using the wrong sites. So I'm really, really keen to make sure you guys out there get the best information on the sites that hopefully will help you do it a lot better. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this, it's been my pleasure. Please click the like, the share, whatever it is, so you can see these coming up every week and you don't miss them. There's going to be a lot more information and data about interview practice, interview engagement, customer searching, all of that kind of stuff, just to make job searching easier for you on AI Onion, basically recruitment, AI Onion reviews. Anyway, see you soon.